friends, welcome to another video. In this video we will be seeing what is meaning of a switch device in networking and how it works, what are different types of switches, etc. So basically in a network, switch is a hardware device that filters and forwards the network packet from one networking device to another. So these two devices could be another switch, it could be router, computer, server, etc. Now, switch is widely used in local area network to send each incoming message frame by looking at the physical device address known as the media access control address or MAC address. Now, switches generally work within the network, that is, it would connect devices which are in single network domain. Thus, two different networks cannot be connected by a switch, and for that purpose, generally routers are used. So we can see in the picture, this is how a general networking switch will look like. It will have the multiple ports for the connection. So switches are key building blocks of any network. They will be connecting multiple devices such as computers, wireless access points, printers, servers on the same network within a building or campus. A switch will enable connected device to share information and talk to each other. So as we can see in the diagram, we could see that there is a switch which is connecting multiple computers to each other. So suppose one computer wants to send message to another, so that message will first come to the switch device, and switch device will check that message is meant for which destination, and it will forward that message to the respective destination computer. Now let's see some features of switches. Now switch operates at layer 2, that is data link layer of OSI model. Switch is an intelligent device. It could be conceived as multi-port network bridge. However, it is much more than a bridge because switch will be using MAC address, that is access of medium access control sublayer, to send packets to a destination ports. A switch uses packet switching technique to receive and forward data packets from source to the destination devices. So whenever any source sends any information to switch, it will be receiving the packet at one port. There will be internal software in the switch which will check what is the destination MAC address, and switch will forward that packet to the destination device. Now here again we can see that a switch, how it can be used for connecting multiple devices. Now switch will be supporting multiple types of the transfer message mechanisms. So switch can support unicast, that is one-to-one message sending. Switch can support multicast, that is one-to-many message sending. Also it can support the broadcast messages, so that it can receive a packet from one port and it can forward it to multiple other ports. Now switch transmission mode is generally full duplex, that is the communication channel will be having both the directions at the same time, due to which collisions won't be happening in the switch domain. Now switches are active devices, and those are having the equipment which is basically a network software, and it will have the network management capabilities. So switches can perform some error checking also before forwarding the data to destination port. Again there is another figure of a switch device which will let us know like how exactly switch looks in the network. Now let us see what are the types of switches. Now Ethernet network switches are broadly categorized into two main categories. One of the category is the modular switch, and another category is the fixed configuration switch. Now there are other variations also which are to these network switches. However, primary definition remains the same. Now let us see what is meant by modular switches. Now modular switches will let you add expansion modules into the switches as per need, and that will give us a flexibility to our network as per our need. So example of expansion modules could be like a firewall, wireless or network analysis model, or any modules for additional interfaces, power supplies, cooling fans, etc. So we can see one of the example of the modular switches. Another types of switch are the fixed configuration Ethernet switches. Now, fixed configuration Ethernet switches are switches with the fixed number of ports, and generally those will not be expandable. Now, fixed configuration switch category is further broken into multiple types like unmanaged switches, smart switches, managed layer 2, layer 3 switches, etc. Now let us see what is meant by unmanaged switches. Now unmanaged switches designed in a way so that we can simply plug them and they will be working. Like there won't be any additional configuration needed for unmanaged switches. Now unmanaged switches will generally be used for the basic connectivity. Like we will often see them used in home networks or whatever few more ports are needed, such as at your desk, in a lab or in a conference room, etc. Now this category is which is most cost effective, where only layer 2 basic switching is needed and basic connectivity is required. For example, they fit well when we need a few extra ports on our desk, in a lab or in conference room, and even at our home. Now there is additional category which is known as smart switches. Now this category of switches is evolving category. Now general rule here is these switches will offer some kind of the management, then quality of service, security, but those will be lighter in capabilities and less scalable than managed switches. Now these switches could be cost effective alternative to managed switches. They can be deployed at the edge of a large network, where managed switches will be used in a core. So wherever a very high kind of traffic flow is happening and very high level of device capacity is needed, those kind of switches will be used in the core. And wherever there is a lighter traffic or less traffic is occurring, at that side we can use the smart switches. Now smart switches will allow us to segment the network into work groups by allowing us to create VLANs, that is virtual LAN networks, and though it will be lower number of LANs and nodes, however it will allow us to get that, and these kind of facilities will be less than those available in managed switches. Now smart switches also offer some kind of security, such as the endpoint authentication, and in some cases with a limited number of ACLs like access control list, where we can allow certain IP addresses to send the traffic and certain IP addresses might be blocked from sending the traffic, though the level of control and granularity will not be same as that of a managed switches. Now let us see what is fully managed layer 2 and layer 3 switches. Now managed switches are designed to deliver the most comprehensive set of features, and these can provide the best application experience. Also these switches can provide the highest level of security along with the precise control and management of the network. Managed switches will be offering the greatest scalability, and any fixed configuration switches won't be able to provide that. So if the network is very high speed network and if the capacity is needed on a larger basis, then we can use the managed switches. Now as a result of the facilities or available capacity of the managed switches will be usually deployed as aggregation or access switches in a very large network, or as a core switches in a relatively smaller network. Now managed switches would be supporting both layer of traffic transfer, like it can support layer 2 switching, and it can also support the layer 3 IP routing. IP routing means by checking what is the IP address of the destination, it can talk between two different networks. Now from the security perspective also, managed switches will be providing protection of the data plane where the user traffic is being forwarded, and a control plane where the traffic is being communicated between the networking devices. So control plane is the layer of software where the traffic destination will be checked and the decision will be taken. Now there is also a kind of a layer which is known as a management plane, and Management plane is used for basically to manage the network devices or the component itself. So managed switches will also offer some other kind of facilities, like it can offer us a storm control, denial to service protection. So there is a attack known as denial of service, where attackers can create a certain situation where the switch software will get kind of confused and it won't allow the service to the genuine users. So these kind of protections are provided in the fully managed layer 2 and layer 3 switches. So friends, this was a very simple video which was related to switch devices. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, as I will be creating more such videos which will help you in understanding the networking concept easily. Thank you for your time. Thank you.